Hi, and welcome to the Eczema Podcast, where you'll learn tips, products, and natural eczema remedies from Abby, registered holistic nutritionist and founder of PrimePhysiqueNutrition.com. Here's your host of the Eczema Podcast, Abby.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Eczema Podcast. Today I am super excited to have our guest here. We have a very special guest from the National Eczema Association, and she's actually the CEO of the National Eczema Association. So I'd like to welcome my guest, Julie Block, on the show today. So welcome, Julie.
Thank you for having me, Abby. It's a pleasure to be with you.
It's my pleasure to have you as well. So Julie, why don't you tell me more about yourself and how you got involved in this role with the organization?
Hi. All right. Well, I've been the CEO of the National Eczema Association. This is my 5th year. And I got involved with the National Eczema Association through my dedication to the nonprofit sector throughout my career. I have been in the nonprofit sector most of my life, including being at Harvard Medical School some years ago, being in the arts, being in education, but being in patient advocacy and health advocacy is my passion. And it is a great honor and privilege to serve the National Eczema Association.
So that's great. For the viewers who aren't too sure about what the National Eczema Association does, do you have a little bit of background information that you can give our viewers?
Sure, absolutely. The mission of the National Eczema Association is to improve the quality of life and health of individuals with eczema through research, support, and education. And the organization does that through a variety of programs. We have a research grant program, for example, that we have awarded over $500,000 in research grant funding to investigators around the country and around the world to study a host of different things that are important to eczema patients, like itch, prevention, staph infections, meditation and eczema. And we just completed a research project on social crowdsourcing so that we could take a look and see what patients are talking about in social media. So those are some of our research efforts, as well as collaborating with researchers around the world to bring eczema research findings to the community. On our website, you'll find all the news and research that we can gather from around the world. So we're somewhat of a clearinghouse in that way, and we want patients to be as up-to-date as possible on what's happening in research. For our education programs, we certainly have a myriad of print materials, including something called Tools for School, which is a wonderful resource and collateral piece that parents can take to teachers and daycare centers and other places to help people understand what eczema is and help their children have a happy, healthy life in their school environment.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that one is very exciting. I know it. If we can help a child get through the school day and have their teacher and their classmates understand that the child is itching, or sometimes they have to put on a cream, or sometimes they can't go outside to play because it's too hot, or why they might be tired in class that day because they were up scratching and itching all night. There's a lot of great information about what it's like to live with eczema. And of course, we have that in other materials on our website and print brochures as well. So those are some of our education efforts that we continually update and bring to people. We also put on a patient conference. We had our last one in Boston in 2014, last July. It was a tremendous event, and we bring in all the experts that we can in eczema, and we do a lot of small group work together. We have a psychologist that's talking about different techniques to help people cope. So
Wow.
we are looking, when we're doing support and education, we're looking at the whole person and the whole family. It's really important for people to know that, eczema or atopic dermatitis, which is the more severe form, that's how we talk about it. Interesting, Abby, you say eczema or eczema. I say eczema. In different parts of the world, they call it atopic eczema. Have atopic dermatitis. So, we're all pretty darn confused. We don't even know what to call it.
So many names.
But at the National Eczema Association, the way we view eczema, we have, if you have, kind of mild disease, that's the eczema. It's anything that it comes from the Greek to boil over. And then atopic dermatitis at the other end of the spectrum is the more severe disease.
Right.
And often atopic dermatitis is associated with other comorbidities, asthma, hay fever, etc. So I digress, but that's some of the education that we try and help people decipher and understand, because it can be very, very confusing.
Yeah, definitely. So the conference that you mentioned, can anyone go to that, or is that for specific people who can attend?
Anybody can come to it, and we put that on every other year, and we also have a kids camp that goes along with it. So kids have an extraordinary experience of meeting other kids that are suffering like they do. They meet kids that have the life like they do. And then, of course, their parents get to meet together. They swap stories. They swap techniques. They learn different ways that different families are coping. There's a lot of inspiration. So we have a different program planned for 2015, but that is a really wonderful resource and community event. People learn that they're really not alone, and that's one of the main messages we always want to provide, no matter what program it is that you're not alone. There is help. People do understand. We understand, and we're going to give you everything we can, information-wise and support-wise, to help you manage this disease.
That's wonderful. I've heard of your organization for a very long time, and everyone talks about it all the time, but I didn't know that you had a conference, and I didn't know that there was, the kids camp where kids get to bond and know each other as well. I think that's so incredibly important, especially it's so easy for kids and parents to feel alone.
Yes, absolutely. We have something else called our support groups around the country. And these are led by volunteers who would like to start a support group in their area, and they will have a medical advisor, like Dr. Leo. He helps us with our support group. So people can come and get educated, but they can also get support from each other. And then some of the support groups, like one led by one of our really, really wonderful volunteers, they put on a little kids... or what do you call it, like a little session, and they brought dolls, and they showed the kids how to put the moisturizer on the dolls.
Wow.
So, there's a lot of creativity that can be brought to bear, but this is volunteer driven. This is got to be our eczema community of patients and caregivers and leaders making these things happen for each other.
That's amazing. So for the kids camp, where does that usually take place? Is it in different parts of the States or just one part?
It's just with the conference, and we have it in
okay.
conjunction with the conference at the hotel site. The kids always go on a really fun outing, been to the aquarium and museums and what's the Chicago Pier. So they've done a lot of really fun things.
That's great. Really, really good to hear.
Yeah.
So what about 2015? What sorts of things can people expect to be excited about in 2015?
Right. Well, it's going to be a tremendous year because so much is happening in research, and I would like to focus on that just for a moment, because research and new drug development, oh goodness sakes, there goes the phone, and I don't know how to...
That happens all the time, no worries.
There's so many drugs in development in the pipeline, and there's a real opportunity for patients to participate in clinical trials. And that is something that I want to encourage everybody to learn more about and to do and find out in their area, because we have new hope. 2 years ago, Abby, if we were having this, I would say, oh, there's a couple of drugs that, compounds that are in development, but 22 drugs in development. There is a resurgence of interest and research, different targets. Just today, there was a news release that is suggesting research that is identifying eczema as an autoimmune disease. Up until this time, we've thought of it more of a genetic disease, that there is a genetic mutation in filaggrin and so on in the skin barrier, and we've been focused there. But now we're learning that there might be a specific target in the immune system that we can target and shut this off. We have excitement. I mean, think about it. If we're very excited about some prevention initiatives that are ongoing, so that if you are having a high risk baby, you're pregnant, and you have eczema or allergies or asthma, and or your partner does, then your child is considered high risk. And there's some new studies that are suggesting that if we can apply some ointment and do some skin barrier right from birth, that we can prevent eczema from ever exploding.
That's incredible.
And so those are exciting things. The new drugs that are in development, clinical trials that people can be involved in, are give us the most hope that we're going to have new treatments in the very near future. And the more research we do on these things, the closer we will get to a cure. I don't like to use that C word too often because we're not close. We're not there today, but we're getting closer every day. And there's a resurgence of interest and activity. Also in 2015, we will conduct what we're calling Leaders in Eczema, Road to a Better Future. And these will be one-day forums that we're going to hold in 4 different locations around the country, so that people can learn a little bit more about what's going on and get more involved with us.
So one-day forums, as in, are they sort of like conferences or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We're just going to kind of condense it into one day and try and go to some areas of the country that we haven't been in. Another very, very exciting thing is our Itching for a Cure walk. We will conduct our third, is it our third or fourth? We've been in Asheville, North Carolina, in New Jersey. We held our Itching for a Cure walk in Los Angeles in 2014. And we will be in Los Angeles and Chicago in 2015. So even if you don't live in that area, you can participate in the walk virtually and raise awareness about the walk. That's the idea of the walk. It gives people an opportunity to talk about eczema in their lives. For example, if you wanted to, Abby, I'm going to put you on the spot, girl.
Sure.
You wanted to participate in Itching for a Cure, and you wanted to start a fundraising campaign, and you would go out to your family and your coworkers and you say, I'm really pleased to be able to participate in the National Eczema Association Itching for a Cure walk. This is a disease that does not have the awareness that it deserves. People are suffering, and I'm happy to help do something about it. And that's the purpose of the walk, to raise awareness and give people an opportunity to talk about it. We've had adults that have the disease that have never talked about it with anybody.
Wow. And
when the walk comes along and they say, you know what, for the first time I'm going to go to my coworkers and I'm going to tell them that, this disease impacts my life, or it impacts my child, and I'm going to walk for a cure. So very powerful.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Very emotional as well.
Well, eczema is emotional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Eczema impacts every aspect of our lives.
Definitely.
Every aspect, and our families' lives, that's the other thing we can look forward to in 2015. We are making some moves to develop a national campaign to raise awareness about this disease.
Okay.
So you'll see that come to life in 2016, but the planning is going on here in 2015.
As in marketing campaigns?
As in a national awareness campaign.
Oh, okay.
For this disease, about the impact of this disease on lives, about the comorbidities, the associated things with this. We're learning more. New research just out about eczema and osteoporosis. You know, we know a lot about eczema and sleep loss, and children's ADHD and difficulty. We know some about eczema and depression. So we have to ring the bell, and it's our turn. It's eczema community's turn to get some attention and get some understanding and awareness about this, so we can start changing lives and move forward a little bit.
I think that's great. It's really, really wonderful. So do patients actually contact your organization directly if they have questions or if they need some resources, or are you just a larger organization that puts up resources on your site and you also host conferences for these people?
People contact us all the time. On our website, nationaleczema.org, we have an abundance of information. We also have a contact us, and you can write us your questions. If you need resources for a good dermatologist, which is a big, big challenge. We know this is a very big challenge for eczema patients. Finding a physician who cares and who can really treat your disease. So we have resources for that, and you can contact us about that. And our social media sites are places where people probably get the most of their questions answered and the support, because it comes from others who know. So our Facebook page and our what we call our Inspire community, our support community, is an anonymous community online, and you can link to it from our website, nationaleczema.org. But that's an anonymous community where people share all of their experiences with topical applications, with steroids, with systemic treatments, with sleep issues, with, you know, bleach baths, with wet wraps, all kinds of things.
Right. Has your organization come into contact with a topical steroid withdrawal, and do you have any views on that?
Yes, absolutely. We have. We convened a National Eczema Association Scientific Advisory Task Force to study this issue, because people were telling us about their experience. The task force completed what is called a systematic review, and we are awaiting publication in a peer-reviewed journal, in the journal. And then we will have a whole campaign to educate people about this condition, which is a very, very serious condition. Very heartbreaking situation, no doubt about it. We were delighted to put some effort and attention and to learn more. There's more to be learned. And I think it's a confusing topic for people right now. But I think what our experts are telling us, for the most part, is that proper use of topical steroids is very, very, very is the first line defense, and very helpful and successful for most patients with eczema. And then you got all the people that are in the most category. And we don't have a lot of good treatments for them. But proper use of steroids, how to use them, how often, how much, what potency, is still a very, very confusing topic for patients. I don't think practitioners in a 10-minute visit can give people the information that they need about this very serious medication.
That's true.
So we have some more. We have some more to go here.
Okay.
There's more education and support to give in this arena.
It's really good that you guys are looking into it, though. I think that'll help a lot of listeners. Especially, I know a lot of my listeners go through it too. So.
Right. I think what we really have to help people figure out and get the doctors on board is is it eczema or is it topical steroid withdrawal? It's I know they don't like us saying this, but it isn't a real common thing, topical steroid withdrawal. It isn't. And we have to give people, and we will be, you'll see this, we're going to say, this is what it looks like if you stop the steroids. This is the type of experience you might have if it's actual steroid withdrawal. This is the kind of experience you'll have if it's not that kind of a thing, and help people empower themselves to understand it and to work with their practitioners, because without placing a lot of blame, I think we know. Listen, if you call to make an appointment with a dermatologist, you might not get in for 6 months. How can you care for it? So we have a lot of challenges going against us, and empowering patients to make the best decisions for themselves and work with their practitioners is our goal here.
That's great.
Yeah, I know it's a big topic.
I know, for sure.
And we're in it headlong. We wanted to start with a very scientific basis. What do we know now about it? What does the literature tell us about it? What does research tell us about it? So that's where we're going to start. And we're going to educate from that point of view. And we're going to go with what our experts, who are seeing more patients than eczema patients around the world, and that'll be our starting point. This is a process. It's a conversation.
That's fabulous. Do you have any last words of advice for my listeners listening, or any last words that you might want to say about your organization, or why the eczema community should feel hopeful for the future in general?
Well, that was a lot, Abby.
I think I put 3 questions in one.
You're right. Well, a couple of messages to anybody suffering with eczema, and that is, you're not alone. Don't give up. Hope is here. New medications are coming. New research is coming. What I would say about the National Eczema Association, engage with us, is nothing is going to happen in the eczema world without all of us joining together and uniting. We need leaders in this community to raise awareness, to help one another, to advocate. We're going to be advocating with the FDA, with insurance companies, for better access to treatments. We need all of you with us. There's a few staff members here. We can't do that. You need to do it, the eczema community. And again, just to reiterate that the race is on. New treatments are coming, and don't give up hope. And we know this is a very, very challenging disease to treat. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but we're here to help you learn about what those techniques and strategies are, and to support you in a lifestyle that improves your quality of life and your health and your love for your family and your life. Eczema isn't life-threatening, but it sure is life-altering. We want to do everything we can to empower people to make the best of this life and to manage this condition, to live fully.
Thanks so much, Julie. I really appreciate it, and I can see how much you care about the eczema community. So I really appreciate
my
that.
heart and soul. And like I said, it's a real privilege to be able to talk about it and encourage people and your listeners to, stick with us, engage with us, learn about us, share with us, help your fellow sufferers. We're all in this together, and we're going to make a difference. We're going to make a difference together.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Thanks so much, Julie.
Thank you, Abby.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Eczema Podcast, and stay tuned for our next episode. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass it along to your friends and colleagues. Visit primephysiquenutrition.com for more articles and tips. Thanks for listening.